Get over here. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Take Two Hangout. We haven't done one like this for a while, but we have a lot of things we just want to give you an update on. One of them. One of them is that Erin has really cute glasses now.
Okay.
She's now a member of the nerdy crew.
Wait. Okay, so it's reversed on here. Should this have been reversed?
It should have been reversed, but never mind.
We can do this. There we go.
It works.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, I don't know if it is reversed on the live stream or not. I think it probably is like that online. So anyway, so we didn't think about that. So we have had our videos demonetized
because of. Tell us which way is right. I can't tell because it shows up as reversed.
Yeah, that's
when we do it like that.
Backwards. It was not reversed.
Like this. Okay.
So that is good. So that is now the correct way around.
No, I think it was not reversed when it was the other way around. I don't.
So that is wrong.
Yes. Okay.
So this is why we had our videos demonetized. We can't talk about. We can't mention.
Because YouTube, just I guess, is now listing it as something that is controversial.
And we can't even mention it in our videos because this gets transcribed. So it'd be interesting to see if the machine algorithm with videos notices and tries to reproduce. But at this point, the written side is readable. The written side front is readable here. The other one isn't. So, okay.
Don't use the darker side because it's...
Is it better with side one or side two?
I'm pretty sure it was the lighter side.
Side one or side two?
Oh, jeez.
Is it better with one or two?
One or two.
Side one. So
okay, so it is the correct way.
It is the correct way around.
Sorry about that.
Because it's the wrong way around for us, and we're just
because when we look at it, it's the wrong way around. Anyway,
and normally my other streaming setup flips things around, so you can see.
Interesting. Anyway, updates.
You cannot put it in the description. You cannot mention it by saying the name because it's transcribed automatically by Google for subtitles. People don't realize this, but when you do a live stream, basically they machine learn everything or machine read everything.
Well, there's a few YouTubers that I watch, and they can't say the K word, which is KILL, because that also gets them shadow banned and something like that. So they have to use placeholders, and it's not even a bad word or anything like that. It's just controversial.
Right. So to give you an idea, we are currently being shadow banned, I think. I have suspicion. The reason is the weekend before, the episode of 10, a week and a bit ago, had 99,000 views, which is one of our best ever 10s. 99,000 views, which is mind-blowing. And it was a really good weekend for us. Yeah, thank you, because we raised, I think we earned nearly $400-500 over the course of last week because of that. The episode in which is mentioned we've had 20,000 views. And I think we've made about $100 and some off it.
A fraction of the views. So,
So we're kind of just want to know, if you haven't seen that video, let us know, because we're trying to understand the demonetization, and we're trying to talk to Google, and because we've got to the point now, we've got 109,000 subscribers, 109,000 subscribers. We're getting to the point where Google actually starts talking to us.
In theory.
Which makes things a lot easier. So glad to see you online. I am such a fan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have been out of the office. We were out of the office yesterday.
I think we were, in total, the amount of days we've actually been in the office this year has been staggeringly small.
Which is kind of scary, considering we're paying $1,200 a month for this place. But we pay $1,200 a month for this place because, A, it's a big enough space, and we've got some news coming on the car.
Mine or different
We've got several news pieces coming. We've also got, I was talking about this saying certain name. I was thinking you now about this. saying certain name and demonetized and YouTube policy. Well, I think, because YouTube, it's a bit weird and grey in its YouTube policy, which is part of the problem, unfortunately.
It's got specific, it has specific ways of wording things to where it can be interpreted to fit their own kind of, what would you say, agenda. They have a very specific view for what they want their platform to look like, and it is not explicitly stated in their guidelines. It's something that's almost like a unwritten rule.
Human malware. I love that, Eric. What a great idea. Human
beer malware.
Maybe my Google number is too low. I don't know. I like the e-tron drive and the Volvo drive was good. Yeah. Well, this is one of the reasons why we're having this hangout, is because I want your feedback. We've done 3 car reviews in the last week. Well, 2 car reviews, sort of. 1 car review and 2 quick drives. Yeah. So I want to know if you want to have more of those. So the Audi e-tron was very quick. The Volvo video was very quick. And obviously the Porsche video, that is the kind of video we want to make more of. And we're looking to buy a couple more GoPros when we do this road trip.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about later. We've agreed that we're gonna basically put GoPros on the car because poor Erin is not a camera person and not a sound person, and I've been trying to keep Erin a little happier this year.
I can do camera work. It's just that like on the go, it's a lot easier to have the GoPros just running instead of just like, oh no, I wish I had the camera running when we did this funny joke, kind of thing. So it's a lot easier.
So we're going to be playing with the idea about that for the road trip. We've got the road trip to talk about. We've got a couple other things to talk about. Where are the rest of the Fully Charged Live and CES videos? I think we've got 4 CES videos left. Okay. We've got an interview with Carsten Breitfeld from LA, right, which we need to finish. And the reason why some of these videos have taken a long time to bring out is because we haven't had a video editor, and we had 2 people that we were talking to who were both really interested and both really engaged, and then for various reasons both of them had to pull out, and so we were back to ground level. And so that Porsche video was actually edited by me over 2.5 days. And when I'm in the studio, the normal day is I get in here about 7, you get in here about 7. It's now 10 to 10. I was late today because I worked out first before coming in, but I normally will catch up.
You were doing mindfulness, being good to your body.
I was being good to my body, which is something I'll look back to in a bit. And I normally write a couple of scripts. I'll film, I'll edit, and I'll push out the door. But when we do a long form piece, like a review that's unscripted, it takes a lot longer.
And I think one of the difficulties that we're facing with a lot of the reviews and things like that is that there's a specific editing style that I know Nikki really likes, and I know you're really good at doing those. And it's I know one thing we're trying to look for is someone with know-how that can edit these.
Yeah, so we've had 2 or 3 people reach out. We're going to be talking to at least one of those. I think the 2 of the people who reached out were trying to be very kind and wonderful. But I've seen some of their stuff and I'm like, not quite the level we need. Maybe we can work with them on some special projects. We've got one person who's really serious and keen, and we're working with a contact of ours from the YouTube world who has an editor who I need to call today. So I'm going to write call him. Because I have his number now.
Okay.
I nearly said his name and then I was like, no, that would be unfortunate. There's a guy who edits for a well-known YouTuber who at Fully Charged Live was like, do you want to use me? I mean, we can make that happen.
It was fun. I remember.
So we're going to talk about that. So we are going to try and push some more videos out. Hi both. Hi Jonathan. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well all the way up in the Orkney Islands. One of my favorite parts of the world. Really beautiful. So let's talk about the projects we're throwing out. We're going to be doing some stuff covering Geneva. But we're also going to be doing some side projects. What are you working on at the moment?
I am working on Kate has written a script for one of her deep dives. And we've done a few of those in the past. We're bringing another one out. This one is regarding blockchain and how it can be used to improve the ethicalness, I guess you could say, if that's even a word, the ethical dilemma of having an EV with Cobalt. So we're kind of working on that right now, and I'm working on doing a fully, I wouldn't say animated fully, but it is a fully illustrated video.
I think it's fair to say it's fully animated.
Storyboard.
It's drawn, fully drawn.
Yes, that's a good word.
Right.
Almost kind of presentation style.
And that's for 3 reasons. One of which is you all seem to respond really well to the drawn stuff. Number 2 is Kate has literally just moved house. So she moved just before we went to fully charged.
Oh my God. It was I think the
day before.
Her wife was actually quite upset.
Yes.
So
thank you. Thank you,
Kate. And Kate.
Kate and Catherine. She doesn't have anywhere to film at the moment in the house because the house is they've moved in, but they're still rebuilding. They're still building the house.
Technically film, but I don't know how good the backdrop's
and thirdly, I want to explore with this as me. I've had some really. I don't like being on camera all the time, and I know that I'm working on my physical appearance and all of that. Body positivity is not very high at the moment, and so I've been working to solve that, but also I'm spending less time in front of the camera because I want to have other people in front of the camera, but I also want to make sure that my knowledge and my experience in the sector doesn't kind of go to the wayside. So I want to get more people in front of the camera, and I want people to see videos where I'm not necessarily in the video, but maybe narrating or doing other stuff. That doesn't mean I'm going to go away completely from doing what we're currently doing. I want to underscore this.
It'll probably be more like a gradual thing,
explanation point. So occasionally I want to do an animated video, a topic video, because then we can throw those out. Those videos are easy to throw out, so I can point it straight at you. Those videos are easier
put a pen in my face,
to do when we're on the road. And we're actually having people talking at us in multiple places. So I'm going to show you that. That was fine.
Yeah.
You're right. It is not a big issue in so much as many people can talk about this on a regular basis. But when you are constantly barraged of negative
I think
comments,
as a lot of you people do know, as I think a lot of our audience that is really fans of us have probably seen the comments, and some people are very positive and some people are very supportive, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and the majority are. But occasionally there are some,
and that's pretty normal. I mean, for you too, but sometimes it's it sucks. So.
Which kind of leads me into a segue, I suppose. It now feels a good time. I apologize if I'm getting too personal. Sometimes people feel that, but I've been suffering a lot lately from depression. And if you came to the Fully Charged live event and you talk to me in person, I don't talk about my actual personal life online, because there are elements of my personal life that I just won't go into online. But if you know me personally in the real world, you know that we've been going through a lot over the last 10 or 15 years as a family, with medical issues and adoption and also just general stuff. And that plus building the business has resulted in me being super stressed out. And when I went to my cardiology appointment a couple of weeks ago, the cardiologist went, "Have you ever had a heart attack?" And I'm like, "No." And it turns out that there was some signals from my heart. Now, I'm at suspicion of having an electrical problem with my heart, which is a genetic condition, which has got nothing to do with my weight, my size, anything like that. But my body is starting to show signs of being too stressed, too much. And so I'm actually taking a bit of a back seat now I'm not stressing so much about producing content every day because it's going to kill me. If I continue to do this every single day, it's going to continue.
It's violently unhealthy.
It is violently unhealthy, and I've been really unhealthy. Like, not unhealthy. I have been really unwell in the last couple of months, to the point that I have been not mentally in a good place and not physically in a good place. And so now my attitude to videos is, if I get a video out on a day, great. If I don't, I don't. And unless it's a really big show or it's a breaking news story, we're not doing that anymore. I have been talking to people about, somebody saying, that's my accent. Hello, that's your accent. Some people have been talking to me about, why aren't you bringing these videos out? And it's really down to people and time and not wanting to kill myself. So, so there we go. That is where we are at. I don't want to make a big deal about that, but I know, Erin, you can probably testify.
You've been a lot better in the past week or so, because leading up to Fully Charged Live was
we are friends,
nose to the ground,
right?
To the grindstone.
We are friends, and we have been working a long time together now.
About 2 years.
But
almost.
when I got messages that our friendship was starting to suffer because of work. That was another indication to me that that was another indication to me, whoa, let's pull that back. And it wasn't just Erin, it was Kate and everybody else, and it was making my life pretty miserable. And so I am taking more time out. If you've been watching my secondary channel, my personal channel, I've started doing gardening this year. I'm raising chickens. We've got to build a coop in the next couple of weeks. My chickens are arriving in 6 weeks' time.
I know, you've been very excited about it.
I'm very excited about that.
You've been telling me about which kinds and all that stuff.
And we both like gardening.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about a lot of gardening and show. We come in on a Monday morning basically and share with each other photos of what we did in the weekend of the garden.
Look, we're looking at strawberries. Look at my
so I'm pulling back, I guess, from pushing myself to cover every news. And anybody who complains that we don't get stuff out quickly enough or whatever, they're just trolling, and they will get banned because it's not healthy. And that is my attitude.
We are a small team, and I'm sure a lot of you already understand that. But I think there's a ridiculous standard that I think YouTube has for constant and frequent updating.
And I don't want to get that either.
No.
So my wife is currently sick. My wife currently has a cold.
We are also in I wouldn't say the epicenter, but we are in the Pacific Northwest.
So you live in a different state.
I live in the state where it's a problem. So yay!
And I live and we work in a county within Oregon where all of the cases are.
There we go. Yay.
So my wife has been sick. She came back from a work trip last week and was sick. And no, don't worry, it's not that. She doesn't have a temperature. She just has a cold. And so she's taking time away from work. I worked from home yesterday just in case I got it, and I didn't want to pass it on to Erin, but also want to keep an eye on my wife. So that's where we're at with that and health and everything.
The one thing I will say with that is that if you're worried, you should not be too concerned, because it's mostly affecting people that are immunocompromised. So if you are immunocompromised, be careful. But I'm going to say it right now. I had swine flu when I was a kid. One of those awesome, overseas illnesses that comes here and everyone gets panicked and starts buying everything from a grocery store. And I'm fine. So because of that and because of everything else and because of my health issues, I am changing how I'm working. I've started working out in the morning rather than coming home at the end of the day and working out, because there was a 50-50 chance I'd come home, I'd be so exhausted and stressed from work that I wasn't just working out. I've been working out in the morning for the last couple of days, and it feels so much better to just
get up. I am a morning person. Get up, work out, and then I've got the rest of the day. My brain is already up to speed. I'm already much better.
Yeah, we do. On the weekends, we like to do walks and stuff like that in the mornings.
So, enough of the personal stuff. I know someone will complain about that in the comments, but you know what?
Yeah, someone said it right there.
Sorry.
Good to do it in the morning.
Sorry. Anyway, let's talk about cars.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a potential car that we'd been offered. And some of you were like, yeah, go ahead and buy it. Yeah. And then other people were like, oh, well, we should, you should not do that because it's an old car and it's not very interesting.
I beg to differ. There was another YouTuber that took the same car and made it interesting. In fact, did multiple times and made it interesting.
And then she built a pickup truck.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, that was a different car.
If it's good enough for Simone Yates, it might be good enough for us. Maybe we could build a truck.
If you're...
Do you fancy a pickup, Erin?
You know what? I like utility. If you all are familiar with Simone Yates, I think
Simone Yates.
Okay. Yeah. She has a specific triangular shaped car.
I think she still has it.
I'm pretty sure. It's just a weird car. So
anyway,
her and another YouTuber turned it into a mouse, which is very fun.
So we have someone offered us that car for a specific amount of money.
Yes.
And I mentioned it in a video, without kind of causing issues. That car may or may not be for sale. I've been talking to the owner. Yeah. He originally was like really keen on selling it, and now I'm not sure he's keen on selling it. So I actually have to go and see him because one of you guys reached out with a check.
Which is wild, and I have to say thank you.
Which is wild, and thank you to them.
Whoever did that.
I'm not going to name them publicly. I know who it was. I'm not going to name them publicly to say thank you. We got the check, and I had just cashed it, so thank you. This gentleman has been supporting us for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
He sends us basically an insane present every year. It's not a present. He sends us money.
Yeah.
December, January every year.
That's a present.
For the company, for us to help keep running. It's put through the company books as a sale. So I've had, I create I never actually send him the invoice, but I create an invoice to keep my accountants happy. He has sent us that specifically to buy that car. So I need to reach out to him if there are problems, but I just want to say thank you to him for that, because that means that we could potentially build that car and make it happen.
And we could have some really cool, featured videos and stuff like that as we're going through the restoration process.
That's something else that we want to do more of. A lot of you have noticed, I'm going back in the chat, a lot of you have noticed that I'm happiest when I'm driving a car. And,
I can't imagine what review they're talking about, Nikki.
Whenever I'm behind the wheel, I'm happier when I'm behind the wheel.
You are very chipper, and you're always very excited when we're doing the road trips. You're always very willing to get behind the wheel. I know me and Kate are just kind of like, okay, sure, whatever, Yeah,
I mean, that day we did 740 something miles. Yeah. I drove.
You did
500 of
the
those.
Lion's share.
I did 500 miles that day. And I love driving. I love riding motorcycles. I'm the same with motorbikes. You remember whenever I have a motorbike or a bicycle, I used to come into the office with a big grin on my face. It comes up. So we want to do more videos that get me behind the wheel. I want to get you behind the wheel. I want to get Kate behind the wheel some more. Kate's done some great videos we just haven't edited yet, so we're going to be pushing those out. So those things are coming.
Lots of stuff in the pipe.
We've got some stuff from Fully Charged Live, and we also have some stuff from Fully Charged Live UK last year, and I'm sorry we didn't put any of those out. We just failed you guys completely on that. We're going to still try and edit that, but again, I think you can understand we're at a point where we're making more content than we can actually push out the door.
Yeah,
we're learning. We've done well this year. We've actually made an appropriate amount of content, but until we have a full-time editor who's willing to work
there's a semi outside.
We can probably, it would be a graduate from university. That's all we can afford at the moment until we grow up a bit. All right, so car.
Me? Okay.
So you want to give people a recap?
As you all know, maybe if you've seen the video that I was doing earlier, like a few months back, I was looking at purchasing a new car. I still have my old car. In fact, I actually had to get the windshield fixed recently, and a few things with the coolant. And she's doing okay, but I'm still looking at getting a new car. I don't know.
This is Rutherford, right? Ruthford? Rutherford.
Ruthford. I named her Ruthford because I am the second owner technically, but the previous owner was a older lady who used it as a commuter car to a community college. And that's all that ever happened with that car. So I was pretty confident, like, this is going to be a pretty okay car. And it is a pretty okay car, but I really want to get a new one. So if you've seen that video, you probably have already heard this. But I'm looking at getting a Volt.
With a
V, not a B. Bolts are really nice, but the thing is about where I live is it's very funny. If you look at a map of the Portland metro area and you see the Columbia, and then if you look on like Chargeway or any of those other apps that show where charging stations are, you see a very clear divide where there's, down here, lots of chargers. Up here, not so many chargers. And I mean, I would be able to charge at home, and that's kind of the idea of getting the Volt, is that I'll be able to primarily use it as an electric vehicle because it has the capacity to be a plug-in, of course. And that's the biggest kind of stipulation that I was looking for, was something that I could plug in and use primarily as an electric car. And then, if I need to get a little something, I'll use some gas. So trying to be a bit more fuel efficient, trying to be a bit more economically efficient. So that's kind of the catch up, I guess. So when we're at Fully Charged Live, I had the chance to get behind the wheel of a Volt. I didn't actually get to drive it, but I did get to climb into it and look at, what it looks like, what it feels like. And I also had the chance to actually talk to some people that had owned them or do own them. I wish I had the piece of paper I got from that gentleman because he was really nice. He let me get in. He gave me the rundown of the cooling systems.
And he was a battery specialist from a technical college, right?
Yes.
He works as a lecturer.
He's licensed.
He's a technical college.
He actually had just gotten another license. He had a bunch of them, and he was showing them off in the trunk of his car.
This is for high voltage maintenance and repair and all of that. Yeah.
So he had a 2014 Volt that he had driven 110,000 miles. And one of the things that I am always really curious about is the maintenance cost, which is one of the reasons why I've always been kind of worried about some vehicles that have a bit of a reputation in the Americas just because of their high upkeep costs or their tendency to break. So that's why me and my family have always been really big Japanese auto. I wouldn't even say fans, just like we know they last a while. So we get, Toyotas or Hondas or something like that, just because they have been in the past pretty reliable. In the past is the asterisk. I'm not so keen on if y'all. I know this is mostly EVs and stuff like that, but if y'all know about fits, you know what I'm talking about. So I got to get behind one of the wheels of a Volt, and I'll have to say, from all of the personal accounts that I got to also get, I am even more convinced that I should get this car. I was almost tempted to the side of the mediocre Prius, which is fine. Priuses are okay. It is a perfectly acceptable car. It is a cheap alternative, and I like that. And it was certainly on my board of possibilities. But the Prius Prime as a plug-in really does look mediocre compared to the battery capacity.
Right, and the problem is, in terms of affordability, what you're looking at the moment is that the first generation, I suppose they are first generation plug-in Priuses. The first generation plug-in Priuses had a range, a tiny battery and a tiny range. And while they are affordable in your price point, the Prius Primes are still stupidly expensive.
They're super expensive.
So they're out of your price point.
The only ones that are actually affordable are the standard Prime, or not the Primes, the standard Priuses, which is fine. Again, it's a perfectly acceptable choice. And if I was like, just screw it, I'm going to, go for whatever I can get for, then I guess I would. But I tend to find them like really, they tend to be really run through.
Yeah, and they also don't have the power for stuff. Get the standard Just go get the standard tree hugger lesbian car.
See?
No real issue
And that's
here.
kind of that's kind of
God.
I mean, that's what I've been talking to my family, and I love them to bits. Again, they're
Sorry.
that's kind of the image, and that's kind of the image that they have, and they're like, you should just get one of those. And I mean, I guess.
Erin, you don't have any desire to be a stereotype, do you?
I don't know. Should I chop my hair short again? Should I chop my hair short again? And then,
So anyway, the Volt is a car that is becoming much more readily available.
Oh,
for your
yes.
price point.
They have also, as some of you probably already know, they are no longer being produced. So that's another kind of benefit, is that dealerships are trying to get rid of them now. They're like, oh God, we got to get rid of them.
But there's a really interesting issue, right? And that I want to talk to you about now. And maybe we'll actually get you to do an update video, a proper scripted update video.
Maybe a little bit longer later on when I actually have something, because the moment right now
from the financial point of view is where I'm heading.
Yeah.
Most banks will only give you a loan on a car if the car is less than 10 years old.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to get a loan to buy a car, your car has to generally be less than 5, sometimes less than 10 years.
Yeah.
If your car is more than 10 years old, they're not interested because of the reliability issues, which kind of causes problems.
Yeah.
Because for a young person such as yourself, and I'm kind of glad that things have changed, because I remember getting a loan back in 2004 when I was 25. I got a loan for a 30-something-year-old car, and I was able to get it. But apparently over here, it's not so common to get a loan on an older car. And you have this problem, whereas you can't afford to buy a car outright. I mean, I can't afford to buy a car outright, but you can't afford to buy a car outright.
The dichotomy,
right?
yeah. At the moment,
But at the same point, you also can't afford an electric vehicle, brand new one. So those people go, oh, you should get an old thing. That's way out of your price point, right?
Oh my God.
That's more than...
Here's the thing is, I managed to do college very cheaply because I had done community, and then I did, which got paid off, and then I have a university. So funny enough, a Tesla is actually more expensive than my student loans right now. So I find it a little silly. They're fine, but I'm not looking for a sports car.
But in terms of financing, right?
Yeah.
The logical choice for you is to go with a used car.
Yes.
And if you want to have a plug-in vehicle, the choice that you have is really limited.
It is incredibly limited.
So you will have to choose a car that you can afford. It has to be generally less than 10 years so that you can get a loan for it. But then
stipulations are just adding up.
The loans for a vehicle like this. And I know this is maybe something we'll try and get Samuel Boner on as well to talk about. Samuel's great on this. He's out in Utah and he sells cars. He's a college student, and he has that same kind of issue when it comes to vehicles. He currently owns a Spark, but you are. A lot of people are saying, why not a Leaf? Well, the issue with a Leaf,
they're very low range, and you don't have that option. The thing is with the Volt is that I like having the option to go electric, and then if I need to go the extra mile, then I can choose to do that with gasoline, but I don't have to.
And there are some interesting studies that say that people who have a plug-in hybrid, which is essentially what the Volt is, although it's the only vehicle that operates as a fully electric vehicle until the batteries run out and then it comes on.
Which is what I want.
People who have that option, who have that extra range, tend to be more adventurous with their car, and they will tend to use the battery pack fully. But what this comes down to, I think also, is what your car's retail value is going to be and how long it's going to retain its value.
Yeah.
While the Volt does depreciate, just like any other car, and its depreciation value is pretty high, the Nissan Leaf's depreciation is shocking because we're now in a situation where Nissan is no longer supporting the battery packs.
Yeah.
And we're trying to organize a flight to the US Virgin Islands to film there with an issue that's going on there. Nissan is charging upwards of $8,500 for battery packs. And then on top of that, if you're outside of an area where there's a certified Nissan dealer, you may find yourself SOL. And the costs, what's this?
For insurance.
Insurance?
Yeah.
People in the UK.
No, people here.
People in here.
Uh-huh.
That is our friend as well.
Oh, hi.
That is our friend with the little spark.
Mm-hmm. Mine actually just went up because I increased my coverage. So
yeah. So I mean, the issue with I've lost my train of thought. Nissan and the batteries is that we don't know. I don't trust Nissan to support the Leaf long term. And if you're paying the average US car loan, I think is either 5 years or 6 years. It's like 60 months, so 5 years.
60 months, yeah.
So if the average car loan is 5 years, I'm not going to presume that you're going to do that because I know that you're a pretty smart cookie when it comes to financial stuff.
No, I'm going to need to get a loan, but I would like to have a larger down payment.
A large down payment and a small loan.
Yeah.
And that's a smart move. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying a car, even if you're buying it over 2 years, let's just pretend you were able to pay it over 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. At the end of those 3 years, you still want that car to be reasonably decent.
Yeah.
You have a high mileage job. Mm-hmm. You're doing
I'm
60
doing
miles a day,
about 60 miles a day, which is to and from. So my car has been recently racking up miles. I watch it every day. I'm like, ooh.
So, and Nissan Leaf, you could drive theoretically from your house here and back every day on a single charge with the battery as well.
But then the thing is, like, I remember, Kate she has about the same trip that I do, and her Leaf during the winter.
This is my wife, Kate, not Kate Walton Elliott.
But she was turning off her climate controls,
and that's why my wife decided to get rid of the car.
Yeah,
because she was driving it to and from work every day. We live out in the foothills of the coastal range. It was about 60-mile round trip for her every day, and it got to December. We had the first snow. And we had a chat. She was just not putting the heating on.
Which is the reason, again, why I'm not choosing a Leaf, is because, I do about the same commute, and I really don't want to put myself through that.
And people are saying, the 2018 Leaf gets 150 miles per charge. You're totally right.
That's all right.
The 2018 Nissan Leaf does.
Yeah.
But find me a 2018 Nissan Leaf for less than $10,000.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where you're looking, isn't it? That 10 to 15.
Yeah, 10 to 15 is where I'm looking, and which is really awesome because the Volts are now coming down to that range, especially the year that I'm looking for, which is about 15 or 16. When I was talking to that gentleman that was at Fully Charged Live, he recommended the 15. He really liked his 14, but I was like, I just wish I went one more year. Because you just squeeze a little bit more out of the battery with that year. What's up?
Someone was asking about, were you talking about Jews? No. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either.
Anyway, so you are in a position where, the Volt really is honestly one of your only choices.
It is a smart choice.
Because we know the battery lasts 100,000 miles plus.
Oh, yeah. I think the degradation on his was very minimal. It was very minimal. Like, what was it? Was it 10%? I think it was small, if I recall. I have his information. Actually, let me see. I think I have it over here. Sorry for leaving. Let me just see. I think I have it actually over here. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. This might just be his information, but I think it also has the car information.
So I just had to ban someone. Sorry.
Okay, that is okay. You keep doing your thing. Yeah, his had only 10% degradation. He had owned it for 110,000 miles. So.
Wow,
it's good in my book.
Yeah. So some people are saying you can see the 2018 Leaf for 15 to 17, but again, it's got the same battery kind of setup as that first generation. They're not liquid cooled. And to be frank, Erin is coming at this from a standard normal person. I'm getting better with the knowledge and stuff like that, but it's to the point where I can actually have conversations in like showrooms and stuff. It's like, look at me, but it's interesting coming from that kind of outsider perspective and then actually getting versed in this knowledge. Right.
Just because it is so, I think something that a lot of enthusiasts, I guess kind of forget is that, when you're coming into it, it's a lot. It's a lot. Because, I mean, I wouldn't say an absolutely different language, but compared to, regular gasoline vehicles, it is a different beast.
Right. And because of your generation, you as a generation, there are exceptions.
I represent all millennials ever.
I think that you are fairly representative of most millennials, which is you are conscious of your effect on the planet.
I'm trying, yeah.
You're not
buying used vehicles is good.
Yeah, you're not being you're not just going out and getting. And I think it's really interesting that your generation are much more financially astute generally.
I think we can
and a little bit more. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you are. And your generation's going to have it good because my generation, we're a small generation. There are a smaller number of Gen Xers than there are boomers.
Yeah, my parents are Gen X.
My daughter's generation. That blows my mind. That your parents and I am in the same generation. I was born in 1979, so I was just at the end of the millennial.
They're at kind of the beginning,
and they were just at the beginning.
So
the thing where I'm going with this is that I think also that there's financial responsibility and a desire to be financially responsible and fiscal.
Yeah,
you've just got your first credit card in an attempt to build that up. To be a smart person about this, right?
So a lot of people are probably going to be like, "Why didn't you get a credit card before?" I mean, it's something that is seen as critical. In fact, it is critical in the way that we currently run our financials to have credit, and that's important. Yeah, of course. But personally, I really don't like owing people money. I've never liked owing people money, and I still don't. But it's essential for me to get loans, to rent, to do a lot of things.
Buy a house.
Yeah. To pursue happiness in our lovely country of the United States of America. I have to have a good credit score. And I mean, I've been building it with my student loans and with rent. And I was actually quite surprised to see how good it was when my bank told me, no, we will not give you a credit card. Because it was actually...
Where's your credit union, right?
Yeah, it was my credit union. It's one of those things of like, oh, you didn't make enough money because kind of thing. So,
but this is all the kind of things I think that a lot of us forget. What it's like being
the struggle,
right? What it's like
struggle.
Being 25, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forget that there are all of those things that have to happen if you want to be a young person who is plugged in and switched on. Both in terms of environmental policies and also electric vehicles.
Got to play the game.
You have to play the game a little bit to get that thing. So you've been keeping your eye out for vaults, used vaults on the market.
I've been keeping my eyeballs peeled on CarGurus, on kind of Craigslist, but and it seems to fluctuate, every now and again with what is available, what is not. I've been trying to widen my search a little bit as well. Tends to be that up in the Seattle area. There's quite a few actually, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And there's a few around here, but they tend to be a bit more expensive.
It's kind of weird. For some reason, the chat is misbehaving, and I don't know if I banned somebody that I shouldn't have done, or if the chat's not working appropriately. So it's weird. I'm not seeing.
Chat is fine. Some people are saying it's working okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
so yes, I'm building my credit in order to be more financially responsible, and also to hopefully get that loan so I can get an auto loan for a Volt. I don't know. Again, I'm kind of on when it's going to be. Fortunately, I found out we are not moving come summer, so I'll actually be able to save up a little bit more.
Right.
Because I live with a bunch of roommates, so we were like, we might move.
And one of the cool things, we're going to try and get you hooked up with a portable charger.
Yes.
So that you can charge at a slightly higher voltage.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a look in your garage to see if you've got a...
I was looking, and I don't know if we have one or not. I didn't see one readily available, but it might be hidden because we do have a lot of stuff in the garage.
You know what the cool thing about the volts are? The volts have a battery capacity that is small enough that unless it's completely drained when you get home, you can actually almost fully charge overnight from a 1.2 kilowatt charger.
Well, the cool thing is that if you didn't know, we have a charger here in the studio.
We do.
We had one installed.
So we have a charging station here, so Erin will be able to use that.
Yeah.
I will allow that because it's
charge point
business expense. It's
someone else. Who is it? I'm sorry.
Smart Charge America installed it for us, so thank you guys. And it is a Clipper Creek unit.
Clipper Creek. That's what
Clipper Creek HS40.
Okay.
So thanks for that. And that means that we will be, and then you will be driving electric as well. And I will, obviously I've been driving electric for way too long, or for a long time, which brings me to a couple of people who gave us some criticism yesterday. I went and drove a very nice Ford Fiesta ST.
Yes.
So one of our mutual friends
recent purchase.
Is a car guy, and he just bought a Ford Fiesta ST, and he kind of came up to see me yesterday and he's like, would you like a drive? And I'm like, yes,
I would.
I am a car and I think I just need to address this because I know a lot of people have been like, I know there was obviously the whole Johnny leaving fully charged thing, and Johnny is a car guy. He will drive petrol cars, diesel cars, whatever cars. He's a car guy. He's also supporting the electric vehicle movement and the transition to a cleaner, greener future for transportation. But he still has a classic car fleet. I have no internal combustion engine vehicles right now. In fact, I think I've probably owned, I was trying to figure this out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So since 2007, when I got my first electric car, I've owned 3 Priuses, one of which was a plug-in Prius, 1 Volt, which obviously had an internal combustion engine, a Volvo 240, and a Smart for 2 diesel.
Yeah.
And the Smart for 2 we bought when my wife lost her job in 2008, and it was a financial crisis, and I basically went, we can't afford the Prius anymore, we need to downsize.
Yeah.
So we switched to the Smart for 2 CDI. And then the Volvo 240, when I adopted my children in 2010, we needed something big for kids that was not going to get damaged and whatnot. And we had an electric car at the time, but it wasn't able to.
Was it a tiny commuter? Or?
It was the what did we have at the time? We had the G-Wiz, and we also had the Golf, and the Golf was not reliable at that point because it had been mucked around quite a lot. We had the Golf City Stromer, which was a great car, and I still wish I had that. And so we had the Volvo, I think probably for about 8 months to a year. I bought it for $250 and I sold it for $350, I think it was. So I'm happy with that. But I do occasionally drive petrol cars, and I can still appreciate a well-engineered petrol car. Does that mean I'm going to tell you to go out and buy a petrol car? Absolutely not. Should you buy a petrol car today? Probably not. I think we all should be buying a cleaner alternative.
Yeah.
But if a friend offers me a drive in their petrol car,
would you say
I'm not going to turn them down because it's a petrol car, or I'm not going to turn them down for a lift. And I'm sure most of you would be the same. And I think if you're that kind of person to go, I'm not riding in that car because it's a petrol car.
Would you say petrol cars were kind of your gateway drug into EVs?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was a car.
Gateway.
I've been a car person for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I grew up in a carless family. My first car, I was 20. So I graduated in 2002. That was the year I learned to drive. So I would have been 23. when I got my first car. So up to the age of 22, I did not have a car.
I'll say this now. I don't feel so bad for not learning to drive a little later than some people now.
Yeah, no, I was 23 when I learned to drive, and I was 20. I think I was 26 when I got my motorbike license. 25, 26 when I got my motorcycle license. So yeah, it's not something that I've done all my life. But when I was on the farm, I did drive tractors when I was much younger. And I was around all of that as well. All right, so people are apparently spamming the chat, and I'm not able to. This chat is not working properly for me. I'm getting the occasional message, so I'm really sorry if this is being spammed. I do apologize. I don't know why. We're looking for an alternative to Google, to YouTube. So we're going to try and switch that out. If you've got any questions, now's the time to do it because we get demonetized for this. Erin's buying a car probably later this year. Probably,
most likely. We got
probably most likely.
Gotta save some money
It's weird. Okay, one second. I'm going to
being
this
spammy.
Person. Remove hide user on this channel.
Anyway, while she's doing that, I'll entertain you. Blah. I don't know. But yeah. I'm getting a car at some point.
All right, so we're getting spammed. I am sorry about that, but we're gonna go from there. So that is it. Thanks for joining us. I have some videos to make. You have some animation to do, and then I have some soil to go pick up, or as you like to call it, dirt.
Dirt. It's not the right term. It's not
compost. Actually, it's compost. So it's compost to pick up.
There's the technical terminology is soil or compost.
Yeah, I have some compost to pick up. We've got 6 more beds to make. We've got a chicken coop to make, and we've got to get a wood chipper because I cut one of my apple trees down
to bits. It looks like
really,
a stick. It's a stick.
Yeah.
You made it into a stick.
I've got to get rid of the water chutes as well, so I'm going to have to go back and do that. But I need to go and buy some tools to make that happen. So I'm going to go do that. But there we go. Thanks for watching. Keep evolving.